you're thinking about renting out your RV for easy money, think again. It'll probably be the worst decision you make this year. I've rented my trailer out for 3 years now, and almost every trip had a problem. From damage to angry guests to insurance or warranty loopholes that left me floating the bill. In this video, I'm going to go over 5 common mistakes that nobody tells you about, including one that could cost you thousands. My name is Shane with MapBound, and let's dive in. I rented my travel trailer out for 3 years. I have made the decision not to rent it out anymore, but I hope this video helps you decide whether or not it's something that is for you. My goal was really just to open people's eyes to make sure they knew that there's more risks involved than just, say, renting your trailer out. First one a lot of people worry about when renting their RV out: fear of damage. What the renter is going to do to their RV, how they're going to get their money back if said damage was done. Some of the damage that I've had done with my trailer is, one, I didn't like the idea of having pet-friendly trailer. To me, I wanted to make sure everybody can enjoy the camper with their furry friend. There has been some issues. I did have a dog pee on the mattress. I also had a dog tear up a little bit of my woodwork around my hideaway bed. I did also have a renter that damaged my countertop where there's a dent in it now. I'm going to have to seal it. Also, I've had a little bit of damage to my table that we're on here now. Here, I've had a little damage where I think someone might have not followed instructions and didn't move the TV back before they tried to move the slide out. I've had a power cable get burnt out because their power outlet was not compatible with this trailer. When it comes to renting your trailer out, you do usually have an option of what kind of deposit you would have if said damage occurred, so that you can take that money before giving it back to the renter if there was damage involved. Mine was $500 deposit, but I would go up to 1,000 if you really were worried about the damage part of it. Out of 3 years, the damage was mostly done by just a handful of renters. Most renters not going to do any damage. In fact, it's probably going to come out back as clean as it was when you gave it to them. Number two, renting your trailer out is passive income. Well, if anybody knows what passive income is, usually income you don't have to do a lot of work. I'm here to tell you, renting your trailer out is going to be a lot of work, a lot more than you expect. One, we will dump the trailer for you, but if you don't want us to dump it, then you actually save on some of your fees. But here's the thing is, yes, I have gauges that detect how much is in my tank. Just because somebody emptied the tank does not mean they cleaned it out. I don't have a dump station at my home. I have to go to a gas station or campground to dump the trailer. When somebody brings it back, you're still going to want to have to take it to a dump site and make sure they do a proper cleaning of the black tank especially. That was one of the big things I found, is that maybe they didn't flush it out like it is in the instructions. A tank isn't flushed out. You may have like toilet paper or, feces or something stuck to the side of the tank. All said and done, it's a lot more work than you'd think. I would say probably a good hour, hour and a half of your time every time you rent the trailer out. The other thing is, I offered delivery. Of course, there's a fee. They have to pay mileage, like $3 a mile, plus there's $100 just set fee on top of it. I'm delivering these trailers sometimes around 2 hours to get to said destination. And then you have 2 hours back just to deliver somebody's camper to a campground 2 hours away. If you have a part-time job or a full-time job, which my sister, her husband, and I partnered to rent this trailer out. So we all had full-time jobs. Just say they want it on the weekends and you want delivery on Thursday, pick up on Sunday. It's a 2-hour drive away. You're looking at 2 hours there. I'd say an hour for setup. I could set up the trailer pretty quickly. Almost every single delivery, there was a problem. So I always shot for about an hour, hour and a half. So you're looking at 5.5 to 6 hours of your time that they spent on that trailer. Number three, not knowing all the hidden risks. So there are a lot of risks that I didn't expect to have when I decided to start renting out this RV. One thing that I actually came across is a campground had stinky water. The renter got to the campground, we set them up, it was a delivery. I'd say it was maybe a couple hours into them settling in, they noticed the water was stinky. We cleaned the tank out, so I couldn't imagine it being that. They were saying that the water was stinky in the freshwater tank. Well, I know we bleached that thing. So, I mean, I would be very, very surprised if it was the freshwater tank. We went back to that campground and we smelled the water out of another spigot, and that spigot was the water was coming from the campground. The customer was still upset about the situation, but it was nothing I can do. I don't own the campground. I deliver it to the campground. They rented the campground out and they did all of that. So that was not on me. Yet that customer still complained. So it's something you still have to deal with, regardless if it's your fault or not. I've actually delivered to a home where they said they had the RV set up like most campgrounds do, but when I got there, did have the RV set up, but it was not compatible with my trailer, or that I provided anyway with the trailer. The way it was set up, any standard RV cord would not have fit with this outlet. You needed your own special outlet for it. He said he hadn't used it for a while, so maybe he just didn't realize it. Either way, we had to finagle something I wouldn't want to do ever again. My cord, I had to bend it, like seriously bend it, just so that it would plug in so that they can use it for that weekend. It didn't break the cord then, but that cord did have to get replaced later. The electrical part of it started burning out and turned black, so I did end up having to replace that cord anyways. I don't know if it was because of that. Another thing, and this is something that I actually won't do anymore. We had somebody ask us to deliver to a pinned location, not an address. They had bought some land, they had a pond, they had a RV outlet too as well. The going to the pinned location to me was unsafe. I did bring somebody along for this delivery. After doing it and then having to pick it up, I would say I'll never do a pinned location again. It was shady and I didn't feel as safe as I should have. They ended up being upset because they didn't read the description all the way. I told them the dimensions of all the power cords. The power cord that I had for the air conditioning, which is 35 amp, I only have 10 feet. They needed like 30 feet. And the guy asked me day of, while I'm actually delivering the trailer, my cord is like 30 feet. And I was like, no, it's 10 feet. That's what we have. I have a 100-foot long regular standard bore plugging it into my house. Now it will run the air conditioning then. I told him, I was like, I don't know if it's going to run the air conditioning on yours. It just depends on your setup. Lo and behold, it did not run the air conditioning with that setup that I had no time to prepare for, nor did they read the description. Either way, ended up having to give them some money back because they were going to give us a bad rating. I was like, give them $50. I was kind of over it. Keep that in mind. There are going to be hidden risks, and there's probably things that I don't know yet. Leave down in the comments below. Have you ever rented your RV out? And do you have any stories that you can share with people who are starting to think about renting their RV out that may make them either want to keep doing it or not do it? Leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your stories. The fourth one is dealing with angry customers or people who feel more entitled. One thing I've noticed is when you're renting your RV out, granted, I did it under a corporation, but a lot of people think that you have loads of money, they can complain or haggle. There was one person I actually talked to on the phone. Since our schedules were so busy, our prices were set in stone. I was not budging. This is how much it's worth for me to or deliver the trailer, how much it's worth to me to have it rented. I wasn't gonna budge. And I told him that on the phone. He still wasted my time. Came to my trailer, said, I just want to look at it. He looks at everything. He agrees it's a nice trailer. He's ready to go. But then he starts haggling after I told him no. I understand. People are like, well, the worst he can do is say no. Well, I blunt out said no, just like I said. I was like, my sister and I and her husband have busy schedules. We can't haggle the price. And the reason for him wanting to haggle was because it was only 15 minutes away. Think about it this way. That's a half hour plus trailer setup. You're looking at an hour and a half if nothing goes wrong. And as I said in the beginning, almost every time something went wrong. We also provided instructions written out, as well as I did a video tour of how everything works in the video. One of the things that some people complained about were things that if they would have read the instruction or if they would have watched that video, then they would have known that no, you can't do that, or yes, you can do that, and here's how. But not everybody reads signs, instructions. Another thing, basically what this customer wanted is they wanted an extra day. They said they paid, let's see, this one was Thursday through Sunday. And if you've ever rented a trailer out, if you've ever rented a hotel or even a cabin, you know that, yeah, you're rented Thursday to Sunday, but checkout it will be on Sunday, usually around between 10 and 12 is what people do. I did 12. So Anywho, the guy's like, no, that's not what I paid for. He wanted the extra day. We'll give you the extra day. Our schedule is open, but you're going to pay for it. So we gave him a quote for the extra day. Didn't want nothing to do with it. So guess what we did? We showed up on Sunday and we had to pick up the trailer. So we're dealing with a customer that's upset. Plus, there were other campers around that were part of his group that were asking him questions about, oh, so now they're just going to abandon you without a trailer when you're renting out your stuff. Nobody's getting a free day, okay? He had a tent and he ended up staying in the tent that night. He just gave us a flat out lie for review. He said that we didn't clean the trailer. That's a flat out lie. He said that it's the trailer stunk. We picked the trailer off. We cleaned it and smelled it afterwards. We did our checklist. The guy was lying. Either way, I called Outdoorsy. Outdoorsy told us that they can't get rid of the rating. All they can do is reply. So we did a reply, but at the end of the day, you still have that bad rating that you cannot get rid of. A lot of times when I rent things, I do look at the reviews. So to me, it would have been a detractor if I was picking a trailer of similar everything, price as well as all the amenities. One had a rating that was 100% great. The other one had a rating that had one bad rating. I would pick said trailer with no bad rating at all. One of the big things to understand is you're going to need different insurance if you're going to rent your RV out. Because a lot of the major insurance companies either make you have a different kind of insurance or they just don't offer it at all. My insurance company, I called them and I let them know. I was like, okay, I rented my trailer out. So I need to talk to you about, are you going to cover me or do I need to go somewhere else? Well, the first thing they said to me, I was a little shocked by, well, if you're just renting it out the one time, it's no big deal. No, I'm going to rent it out again and again. And that's the point when my insurance said, well, we don't cover you. So I had to look somewhere else. The insurance I went with was Roamling. It's a little more expensive. At least gave me peace of mind because that insurance company knew exactly what you needed for renting out your RV to other people. Another thing with the rental platforms is they generally recommend between $500 to $1,000 deposit. I have decided not to continue renting my RV. It was not passive income enough for me, so I've decided to move on. But when I did the $500 deposit. Now, if I was still continue to rent it out, I probably would do the 1,000. You're not going to get as many renters. It at least gives you that extra peace of mind. Another thing when it comes to insurance or warranties, I bought the extra insurance at the dealership. Waste the money. I wouldn't bought it, but I was worried that since I was renting out my trailer, that I may incur more damage than normal trailers would. So I went in and bought it. Never once used it. All the damage that I've received from renters or nothing that's covered. One big thing that I did get done, make sure you save all your receipts because my fresh water tank started falling out from the bottom. I didn't even know this, but I actually had someone renting out my trailer. When I got to the delivery, she noticed the tank was kind of hanging out. First things first, was she going to use the freshwater tank? No. So since she wasn't going to use the freshwater tank, I was like, well, then I'm not worried about it right now. I take it to the dealership to see if it would actually be covered under said warranty, and it is not. It is not covered under the warranty. I ended up paying $270 to have them fix it and then put a strap on it. Now, the reason I say keep your receipts is if I didn't keep my receipt, a year later, there was a trailer recall for the same exact issue. And since it was for the same exact issue, all I had to do was submit my receipt, and the trailer company actually reimbursed me that money. So I always keep my receipts. And of course, it's good business practice, especially, if you're renting it out under a business. My name is Shane with MapBound, and you have safe travels.